I'm going to pre-drill this for the drill for the screw that we're going to be putting in here. That's only for going through the 2x4. Now I hope I hit it right. I'll check the 2x4. If I didn't hit it right, because these are not 16 inch on center, if I didn't, I'm going to have to re-drill left or right. You know, we'll find out. Over here, I'm going to nail it. I pre-drilled already once. I'm going to put 12s in there. I only need to put the screw in the middle in the 2x4. I don't want to start banging in there and knock things off the shelves in there in the shed. Got enough mess in there now. So we'll put a 12 in here. We'll get the drill out and put the driver bit in and put the screw in there, or at least try to. Okay, here we go. She took the 2x4. I'm going to go check and make sure. I'll look in the shed and see. I'll be back in this video in a minute. Okay, she took very good. Matter of fact, if I drove it anymore, I would have gone through the 2x4 over here. I didn't want that. All right, I'm going to pre-drill and put a screw down at the bottom. Now at the bottom, it's got a 2x4, pressure-treated 2x4 for the flooring when I put this in. So I should be able to tack into that. I'm going to drill down here. If you don't mind looking at a goat's ass when I'm doing it. Pre-drill down here. This damn drill. There must be a knot in that wood. I got it though. All right, we'll get another screw and we'll drive that in. All right. What I done here is I have some white silicone I put in the holes here. I didn't have any caulking, but silicone will be just fine. Now, this, as I said, I screwed in. You saw that. And what I had done is I drilled a hole right straight through. This is just plywood here. Well, OSB crapboard, to be technical. And I put a wood screw from the inside out to go into here. So it bites in tightly into here. That just gives it a little extra strength. And of course it's got a screw down at the bottom here. So this is solid. This ain't going nowhere. A lot of times when I'm in the coffee shop, in fact quite often, I'm thinking up here as to how I'm going to make something, whatever the project may be. So the wheels are turning all the time, although the lubrication in the gears are getting rusty. So I have to still think about what I'm going to be doing back there on this project. I don't have all the wood that I need yet, but I want to get the frame made anyhow. Alright, we come out to a 5-degree pitch, not a 10-degree like on the shed. It's going to sit on this 2x2 right here. And these 2x2s, this 2x2 is going to be nailed to the bottom of this one and the other one that I'm going to be making up it gives me a support and I don't have to toenail it into the base. So this will sit like this. There's a 5-degree pitch. So we come up with another 2x4 from here with the 5-degree angle and into here. I got a clamp on that just to hold it so I can bang this in. And like I say, this is just the bottom sill, so to speak. Now, turn it around. Make sure that our taper is facing the right way now. Taper will go down toward the back of the unit. It's at a small angle, it's hard for me to see it. Alright. Helps if I staple this and nail this, clamp this down, I should say. Makes it a lot easier to nail it. Sliding all over the place here. Alright, now. Straight, flush. Now, take it up. This will be, as you're looking at the front of it, here's the shed on this side, slight taper. This will be fastened to the platform, and I'll show you. Alright, I'm not done with it yet, of course, but what's going to happen is we need the most floor space we can. So this is why we're putting it on the flat like this. Because I didn't want this or this to be this way, because then you limit your width here, getting the generator in and out. Now, this will be nailed, pre-drilled of course, and nailed with this sill plate here. This sill plate will have 2 or 3 holes in it, and it'll be nailed right to the bottom of it. Now, up here, this is a 5-degree pitch, 5-degree angle. There'll be a 2x4 cut on the flat, this way, not this way, but this way, going right to here. And pre-drilled and nailed this way, the same with this end. So there'll be a frame here, and of course I gotta make this, before I do that, I gotta put a 2x4 here. And when I put that 2x4 here, I'm gonna take and run it to the table saw and get the 5-degree pitch, so it's all 5 degrees right through the here. You're probably wondering what this little hole is here for. Well, I didn't make this for this project. That little hole is from one of the little Christmas tree lights that I had in the screenhouse. But it's not all the way through. It's only down in there about an inch. I'm going to get the table saw out, and I'm going to start cutting a 2x4. First, I got to cut a piece that's going to be 30 inches from here to here. That's 30 inches. Actually, 30 1/8 will get a good tight fit in there. We don't worry about absolute precision. Not in my woodworking projects, we don't. But I try to get it as close as I can. Ruler's showing straight. Bring this piece of crap over. Just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. I never seen that to Mickey Mouse. I know I made this up. It's on one of my videos. But I don't know. The plastic white metal or whatever it is that's in here just broke. a few years back, and it left me with a table saw that was pretty useless. Not only didn't have a miter gauge, because nothing fits in that mongrel metric crap shaft groove here. I hate metric. I honest to God, I hate it. Now I got my 5-degree angle I wanted. I'm going to use these galvanized pieces of metal instead. A roofer gave me a bunch of these. He said they go like for modular home when they go connect one to the other. I don't know. But anyways, we're going to nail these down. The roofer, like I said, a roofer gave them to me before he moved out of the area. Not the roofer that did our house. This was years before that. I'm going to just nail that into place. So I'm going to take the tin snips and cut this around. This will give some strength when I put these pieces together, and it won't be as noticeable as those blocks. So I'll be back on the video in a minute here. Okay, I just notched out where she's got to go in here. What I'll do is I'll nail this piece first. This is number 6 galvanized. Now, this is light gauge metal. It's just going to hold these pieces together here. We're going to nail this piece first, and then we'll nail into that. It makes it neater than having a big bulky piece of plywood there. Now, we've got to line this up. So we'll start the nail first over here. Sure we're straight. Ideally, it should be nailed like I did the first part there. Before we do anything, we're going to make one over here, and then we'll come back on here, because there's a little movement this way. I want to make sure she's straight and square. So we're going to make up the other one. Oh. All right, as you can see, it's strong now. She don't rack at all, and it looks a lot better. You know, when you paint it, it'll look a lot better. And when I go to nail in the side pieces, I can pre-drill this if I need to. But this is relatively thin metal, so as you can see, you can nail it right through it pretty easily. Alright, what I'm going to do here, what I'm going to do here is to make a temporary brace. I'll hold this straight until I get the bottom done and the angles here. sure exactly where. Temporarily tack that. Don't go all the way down with it. Just we got to make sure that's square. And what that allows me to do is to establish the width of this thing accurately. And naturally I'll just take a ruler and I'll measure the bottom, and the top should be the same. But this will hold everything together so I can finish it up with the side pieces, which is going to be a 2x4 from here to here. Same with the back. Those I'll nail through the edge here, and I'll simply drill through that metal first to make it easier to get the nails in. Otherwise, if you know me, I'll bend the damn nails over. Okay, now we adjusted this and nailed this down firmly to hold everything on there straight, and we're going to pre-drill and nail this bottom footing to the platform using, well, don't have to be number 12s, but that's what we got here. Check that. Flush there. Still good. You only need one nail in each end here. All this does is also keep everything together so I don't have to go and toenail this. Toenailing is not a very good way to nail anything. I mean, I've done it. Not my favorite way of doing it. Now I gotta get the measurements from here to here and get that 5-degree angle on there. This is how I'm going to do it. I cut this about 1.5 inches, 2 inches longer than necessary. First of all, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my 5-degree angle cut for this side. Then I'm going to fit it in here. Now another way you can do this, and actually I may just do that, is to just draw it out like I did with my roof trusses when I did the porch. You bring this up here even to the top of this 2x4, and likewise down here. Make sure it don't move. You draw the line here, you draw the line here. Okay, so here is your angles here. You always draw the line, otherwise you could screw up in your head, especially me, I'm great for doing that, and end up cutting the angle the wrong way. So if this comes out right, that end should match, and I should be able to make a temple from this. So we'll cut that on the table saw. On the chop saw. 5-degree angle. Alright, so just pin up here before it dries out. Alright, take this, move this 5 degrees. This is exactly 5 degrees. Make sure we're on. Always, very carefully check that. We'll go a little over. Go a little over the line. Because if you cut it short, you're screwed. a little bit longer. Now we'll go back to the site here. Okay, if you look, I don't know how well you can see it, but close to the top here, right to the edge here, we fit like a glove. The hardest part is going to be to nail this into this. So we're going to try a little trick. I'm going to show you one of my tricks. Alright, before we do that, I'm going to show you that this piece will match up into here. Remember, I measured for that, but it should be the same for this. And she is. Alright, so what I'm going to do before I do any of this is I'm going to cut another piece like this, and then I'm going to show you the little trick that I invented myself, I guess, on how to nail that in there. At least part of the nailing will be done that way. Hang on a minute. Okay, here's what you do. Get yourself a few finishing nails, I don't know, maybe 1.5 inches long or so, depending on how big of a nail you're going to be using in this. And a small bolt cutter. Okay, here's what you do. Take your nail. This is the top of your groove. Okay. Then what you're going to do, it's hard to make sure it's in the camera here, is you cut the head off the nail. Okay, so that you've got just the nail sticking out. Alright, this is for the bottom nail. Now I'm going to show you. Let's go over here. Alright, this is what you're going to do here. You take this, line it up with the top, on the sides of course, and just push it a little. Okay. Alright, there's where your nail is going to go. Take your drill. Now we're on a little angle. That's what you want, a 5-degree angle. Okay. That's all you do. You take this and put it in the hole. And what you're going to do is tap this on the other end. Okay. Now, naturally you're going to have to drill this other end over here in order to get this to stay up there. This just holds everything in place. Also kind of serves as a sort of a nail. It doesn't really hold a lot, but it's kind of like another hand to hold things up. And then you pre-drill here and then you toenail in. I got the nail started. This holds that end up and keeps it in line while you hammer the nail over on this end. Now, before I put anything more in here, I got to pre-drill and nail in, toenail in here. This, unfortunately, I have to toenail it in. I either have to do that or I have to use angle brackets, and I don't want to use angle brackets. So that's the way we'll do that. So we'll pre-drill right here. And we'll put a number 12 in there. In addition to that little nail thing I showed you, when I'm nailing, and this is already nailed in, I just put this dead man underneath here to keep it from coming down when I'm banging on it. I can remove it now. Now I can put the other nails in, and we'll do the same to the other side. We'll do that off camera. We'll come back a little while. Okay, we're just finishing up with toenail on the side. Use number 12 on the top, or using number 8 on the toenails on the side. And we drive them in with this. It's a lot easier to finish driving them in with the big punch here that I got. You can get it into the camera here. Then trying to swing the hammer. I'm about ready to take off the support now. So, let me just remove that. Put it back in the wood pile. You use it again, something else. Okay, I'm finishing up for the day. Now this is solid, very strong. Toenail here, one here, and of course you got that little one I told you about. That more or less is a holder to keep the thing from sliding down when you're working by yourself and without a helper. The mending plates here, and it makes it for a nice strong thing. And the top will have reinforcements to go on here too. And this is buggered up from being, another piece of wood on it from the screen house, but not worried about that. The generator control panel is going to be about here, so there'll be a piece of wood coming down probably about a foot off the floor, so we get air all the way around it. And of course the top and the sides above that point will be closed in, and there'll be a vent on each end here. So that's about it for today. I'll come back on this project the next day whenever we get a good day. Today it's a gloomy day. It could rain anytime. It was a big setback today with the damn table saw, and then Monday with the power outage of 3 hours. So we could have had this thing probably pretty well done, except for the painting of it and the roof probably. Okay, we'll be back. Don't go away.